Hello, I'm Detective Manuel Hernandez with the Austin Police Department, Homicide Unit. Manuel is M-A-N-U-E-L, Hernandez, H-E-R-N-A-N-D-E-Z. On Monday 25th, 2024 at approximately 10:58 p.m., APD officers responded to a shoot-stab hotshot at 414 East Wonsley Drive. Upon arrival, on scene, officers located a male victim with multiple gunshot wounds. The male was pronounced deceased on scene and identified as Xavier Jones, Sr. The initial investigation showed multiple unknown armed suspects forced entry into the apartment by shooting out the rear sliding glass door. Once inside, the suspects assaulted a female resident, pointed a gun at a child, and stole cash and jewelry from Jones before fleeing the scene. Over the next 2 months, multiple APD detectives worked relentlessly to identify the persons responsible for the death of Xavier Jones. Through a combination of help from the affected communities, investigative techniques, and tips received through the Capital Area Crime Stoppers program, investigators were able to identify 6 people involved, and arrest warrants for capital murder were issued for each person. On January 29th, the U.S. Marshals Lone Star Fugitive Task Force began operations resulting in the apprehension of 5 of the 6 subjects. The 6th person was confirmed to already be in Travis County Jail for an unrelated violent offense. At the time of the murder, 5 of the 6 people involved had previously been released from jail and were under court supervision for unrelated violent offenses. This case remains an active investigation, and anyone with additional information is asked to contact the Austin Police Department at 512-974-TIPS, or you can submit your tip anonymously through the Capital Area Crime Stoppers program by visiting austincrimestoppers.org or calling 512-472-8477. Thank you.
My name is Detective Adam Curvin. Adam, common spelling Curvin, C-U-R-V-I-N. I'm a member of the Lone Star Fugitive Task Force and Austin Police Department's Tactical Intelligence Unit. Austin Police Department's Tactical Intelligence Unit typically works hand in hand with homicide when these types of high-profile, complex homicides occur. We assist with data gathering, analysis of open source information to include social media, and any kind of street intelligence that we can get through confidential informants and other sources. We conduct covert surveillance in cars that do not look like police cars and in clothing that does not look like police clothing. And the reason being is a lot of these investigations are in their infancy and there is not enough to issue an arrest warrant based on the preliminary information. Through the efforts of the Tactical Intelligence Unit in working in hand with the Capital Area Crime Stoppers, we were able to build a pretty compelling case on the subjects shown on the screen, to include all the resources that I mentioned and some that are still under investigation and still in process. When it came time to execute these warrants, when it became known that all of our potential suspects were identified, we transitioned to our partners at the Lone Star Fugitive Task Force to apprehend all and, as best as possible, preserve any outstanding evidence that occurred. Seeing as how the apprehensions occurred nearly 2 months after the initial offense, there was a high likelihood that a majority of the evidence had already been disposed of or had changed hands. But in an effort to preserve the investigation to the best of our ability, we coordinated a simultaneous arrest operation for the 5 outstanding suspects. As Detective Hernandez said before, one of them was already in Travis County custody. We began in the early morning hours and systematically arrested one person, executed a search warrant, moved on to the next, executed a search warrant, moved on to the next, executed a search warrant. A coordinated and complex operation that could not have been done alone and could not have been done without the very effective cooperation of our federal partners. I'm going to pass it on to U.S. Marshal Brandon Filler.
Good morning. My name is Brandon Fila. It's spelled B-R-A-N-D-O-N. Last name Fila. That's F as in Frank, I-L-L-A. I'm a public affairs officer here in the Western District of Texas, as well as a deputy U.S. Marshal assigned to the Lone Star Fugitive Task Force. We're here today represented, standing here with the Austin Police Department because the Austin Police Department requested our assistance immediately after the warrants were obtained here in the Austin Municipal Court for five of the 6 individuals that were outstanding here in the local community. Tactical Intelligence Unit with the Austin Police Department immediately came to our office the day that these warrants were in hand and requested our assistance. Not only that, but the Tactical Intelligence Unit also provided us with an abundance amount of information that helped us be very successful. And when I talk about successful, is we were able to apprehend and remove these individuals from your city within 24 hours. That was a 2-day span. We started on the 29th mid-morning and finished up the following morning with an individual that was arrested as he was there for sentencing at the Travis County Courthouse. So these individuals, as I look at, there were 5 individuals that were reported to us with felony warrants, and it was for capital murder. They had an extensive criminal history. I'm not going to pin anything down on anybody specific because this still is a pending investigation. But I can tell you that we knew that there was some type of gang association that was very broad, what I'd call more of like a hybrid model. These individuals just really floated around with someone with some type of organized activity. And as you can see in this particular case, they went after an individual after they were following his social media to where he had probably approximately $50,000 in cash or some type of value, being a gold diamond-plated watch and cash and diamonds and stuff like that. So I believe that, according to the affidavit, that was their intent. We knew that the murder weapon was still outstanding, as well as I talked about an extensive criminal history where they've had run-in with law enforcement before, and these individuals ranged from the age of 20 to 22 years of age. And they were spread out as well. The intelligence unit here with the Austin Police Department advised that they would be in North Austin as well as South Austin. So we were able to look into that information and saturate this Austin area with about 27 to 30 task force officers that really helped us to be able to succeed in this case. And it's very important to note it's able to get these individuals as fast as possible so that one doesn't go on the run for a long time, right? And we can get these into custody as fast as we possibly can. But not only that, during those arrests, there was no further incident reported, no types of incidents reported for injuries to law enforcement or any personnel that we arrested. But what I can tell you is, looking at the violence that we went after, there was search warrants completed as well as things in plain sight, and that yielded to firearms being recovered. I think approximately 2 to 3 pistols. We've had an AR-15, which is a rifle. We had another rifle that was seized with a scope on it and additional magazines. So these individuals that we went after were violent, and that's what this task force is here for, is to chase those individuals wanted for these violent types of offenses. Not only that, but we are also approaching our 20th anniversary for this task force here in April. So we have been teamed up with the Austin Police Department Intelligence, our Tactical Intelligence Unit, since the foundation of this task force in 2005. Just right below our feet in the basement is where this task force was really a foundation of it, as Austin Police was our first partner, to where 2 decades down the road we're still fighting what we were intended to fight, and that was to fight this crime and put these individuals behind bars, because unfortunately in this incident we want to bring closer to the victim's family, and that's our that's our primary goal in this. But as we can look, as the names that we've arrested, just to kind of give you a span, Cameron Perkins, age 22, was arrested in the 1500 block of East Howard Lane. Lawrence Jones, 22, and Rihanna Farillis, 21, was arrested in 1100 block of Pearl Retreat Lane. We had John Willard Jr., 20, was arrested in the 5900 block of East Stastney Lane. And on January 20th, Judarian Forbes, 20, was arrested at the entrance of the Travis County Courthouse by the Travis County Sheriff's Office screening deputies at the direction of the Lone Star Fugitive Task Force. That was the last individual that we had learned had some type of hearing that morning at the courthouse, and we notified the screening personnel that he may be coming through. That concludes my statement.
We have lots of questions. We'll bring Detective Hernandez up. If you have a question for someone else, just let us know. You guys can raise your hand if you do have any questions. You guys, Jamal and Angela.
Detective Hernandez, I think it was mentioned that this possibly was gang affiliated or gang related. Is there any other relation, I guess, or any other crimes stemming from what you might feel this gang or affiliation were involved in? Any crimes like that you feel like you think they may have committed or you're investigating with that group?
As far as the specific individuals that are involved in this case, I am not aware of any pending charges at this time.
Angela?
So how did you guys narrow down that it was these 6 that you had to go after?
A combination of a whole lot of things. It basically, and Detective Kervin can probably speak more about this, it started with a Crime Stoppers tip, and it just ballooned from there and ended up with, that's how we ended up getting 6 people.
In particular, John Willard, was he out on bail for fatal drive-by shooting in 2022?
I don't know the specific incident, but I do know that he was, at the time, he was out on bond. I don't know what he was being charged with exactly.
Just to follow up, how frustrating is it for officers, for you guys and the guys on the street to, he's out on bond and yet you arrest him for a different crime? How frustrating is this?
Yes, sir. It's challenging for me being on the inside. It's a drop in the bucket to the gentlemen and the men and women of the department that have to go out and risk their lives to apprehend these people for a second time.
Jamal?
Thanks.
How about the ages of these suspects? I mean, they're all between 20 and 22 years of age. What can you say about, I guess, just like how young they are and being involved in these sorts of situations?
It's becoming more and more common for us to see people at a younger age purporting very violent crime.
And then a quick follow-up. I know November was a very busy month for homicides here in Austin, and I know that the police department is or was short-staffed around that time. That didn't have any kind of bearing on how long it took this investigation to go on, did it?
No, it did not.
Yeah. What type of content was Safer putting on social media of what type of relationship they have to see the content that it was uploading on social media?
It wasn't anything that we would consider out of the ordinary. He's just documenting his daily activities, as so many people do on social media. Unbeknownst to him, people were just following that content with malintent.
Is there any type of something that you wanted to tell to the people to make prevention of these type of cases?
Just naturally, common sense, good judgment. Please be careful with what you're putting on social media because you never know who's watching.
So was Jones like an enemy of these 6, or was he randomly targeted because they found what he had on social media?
Through the investigation, we know he wasn't necessarily random, but they weren't necessarily known either.
The female involved who was assaulted, did she have any affiliation with any of these parties as well?
She did not. Other than the victim, I'm sorry.